This is part 3 of Gateway Aikido video 15. So let's take a step back. We reviewed tactically where does Aikido's giwaza fall? What's the tactical opening for it, okay? That was pretty much part 1. In part 2, we continued on that theme, but we really brought it into also the importance of Aiki at the contact point, okay? The adhesion. Now we're going to take a step back because the whole point of video 15 is on the topic of addressing Aikido's traditional strikes in giwaza. Okay, so nagewaza to Aikido's traditional strikes in giwaza. Okay, so here, what is giwaza? Why do you do it? What are you trying to do? Okay, so there's a couple of things to think of. One is a Buddhist model, but again, remember, when you're talking about Silk Road cultures, they don't draw these clear distinctions between these schools of thoughts the way a Western academic would, or a contemporary Western martial artist, or even a Westernized East Asian, which is the majority of East Asian martial artists now training Westerners. They've been Westernized, okay? You don't have this clear cut between Buddhism and Taoism. The ism is the problem, okay? But it does help us in a certain way because we can think of the larger school of thought to make sure we're not going adrift on how to understand the concept that we are looking at, okay? So the Buddhist concept that we're looking at is Shu Ha Ri. This is related to giwaza, okay? The best way of defining this so that it works for you as a utilitarian understanding, meaning that you could actually gain something from it in your practice, and it's not just jargon that an academic talks about, okay? So this is the problem, the Buddhist problematizing of the egoic mind and the Buddha nature or the Buddha mind, okay? So this, for us, we'll call form. This is the world of form. And then we'll have this one we'll call non-form. And then this one is the reconciliation of form and non-form. Okay? It's very common today in Westerners and Westernized East Asians to see this as a kind of progression training. So first learn form. I don't know how you would learn non-form, okay? But usually they'll say break the form. Because the literal translation would be break the form. Hold the form, break the form, okay? But if you're intentionally breaking the form, you're only learning more forms. So this is a misunderstanding of Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist psychology, Buddhist ontology, Buddhist soteriology. That's why it does help to, if you understand the ism part, the larger understanding at work. You would never go first learn form, then break the form. That would only be more form, okay? This is just more Buddhist mind understanding. So your egoic mind is going to work with form. You need to have your God mind, using our discourse, is working with non-form. You can't just work in the God mind. So what your ultimate aim is a reconciliation of form and non-form, meaning they become non-antagonistic to each other. you see? To the point that they become indistinguishable to both the person doing it, and most particularly from that person. So as you're doing it as nage, even if you were to do ikkyo, subjectively, you're doing it from here, you don't feel ikkyo. You're not doing ikkyo, okay? A third person watching might look and go, that looks like ikkyo, you see? But you'll also see techniques never ever done before and never ever done again. And they will appear as natural as if it was a technique, a form you've been studying for decades, okay? You also tend not to know what you did because you're not operating at this level in a pseudo break the form. Do you see that? And from this point of view, you're more in the flow if we were to adopt modern terminology, which means you're not working with your intellect, right? Or what we would call the egoic mind, because it's more than your intellect. You're not functioning through your fear. You're not functioning through your desires. You're not functioning through your repulsions. Do you see that? Or your avoidance. There's a pure acceptance. So everything looks smooth. You see, everything is smooth. There's no distinction. Okay? There's no interruption. There's no staccato attributes to the movement. You see, there's no reversing. There's no hesitation because form does not exist. Got it? This is related to a phrase that O-sensei did, utilized, okay? And this is Takemusu Aiki. Okay, so we know what Aiki is. It's the reconciliation of yin and yang, okay? So the distinction ceases to exist, you see? This Takamusu means under spontaneous conditions. Okay, so when you do giwaza, you could use either model. Well, when I do giwaza, I'm going to reconcile form and non-form. But because you're an Aikidoka, as you reconcile form and non-form, energetically, you have yin and yang are reconciled. And Aiki manifests itself, okay? The Aiki is going to manifest itself in such a way that you are always under control of the uke, which also allows you to reconcile form and non-form because the uke can never do anything wrong. There's nothing in the uke's movements that causes you to be repulsed by it, afraid of it, or desiring them to do something else. So there's no need to pick a technique. What is happening is happening perfectly. Do you understand? Okay? What's important to note is you can look at this in our three components of training, these two things. We have our spiritual component where we have the two minds. This Buddhist model is operating at the spiritual component. This is the energetic component. But you can't reconcile yin and yang energy without reconciling the two minds. You see? So when you put this into giwaza, and it's a matter of martial application, so to speak, it's also your physical component. Okay, so these things are happening simultaneously. And this training is the point of giwaza. Giwaza is not sparring. Giwaza is not trying to do Aikido nagewaza on someone. In fact, you're more accurate to say As I said, giwaza is not sparring because giwaza is not about fighting. Because fighting requires opposition, attacker, defender, you see. But it's not also Aikido's version of sparring, you see. It's a technology of self of this nature. Likewise, it's not trying to do Aikido Nagewaza because that's this, stuck on this, you see. It's, in a way, it's trying to transcend form. It's trying to transcend the opposition between form and non-form, okay? So, hence, it would be a problem to just keep doing Kihon Waza, to pick Kihon Waza to do, to try to do Kihon Waza, to try to force Uke into this Kihon Waza or that Kihon Waza, as much as it would be a problem that nowhere in what you did we see a technique that's never done before and never done again. Just because of the mathematical probability, you see. If you are reconciling form and non-form, if you're doing it long enough, we should see a technique you've never done before. Okay? This is just the way it works out. Okay? Got it? All right. Let's get to this, okay? So because that is what I'm working on, in my opinion, it's not really important that you try to do all of Aikido's curriculum. That would be a problem. Likewise, it's not important that you have to do giwaza for strikes. Who cares? This is that kind of orientation, you see. This is a spiritual, energetic practice, not sparring. If your concern because you had a professional end was martial, you're going to have to do way more than giwaza. You're going to have to spar. Got it? Okay? So, with that in mind, I tend not to do the strikes when I do giwaza. I either say come in with whatever, or we just work with grabs, okay? The reason we prioritize grabs for you all here is it requires less of this already having been cultivated in you, okay? They operate a little slower. There's a kinesthetic index point, not just a spiritual connection. You don't even need it because it's physically touching you, you see. But still, it presents its own problems, right? Okay? So go to the basics, and that's why we're going to do part 3 is return to the basics. What is giwaza? What am I working on? Okay, well, what did we say in part 1 and part 2? Do not stop uke. Do not stop uke. Do not clash with uke at any point. And get an Aiki adhesion. Okay? So, as I go, we're just doing katata dori, right? Go back. I'm not going to sit here and wait for him. We're already moving. I'm not going to walk at him. I'm going to start my spiral going. Do you get it? So he's coming in, I move at his intention, and you can see that I already started it. I'm not here. Nor am I going right into him. At his intention, I'm already spiraling, you see? I'm not going to slam him there. Boom. I make contact, here's the yield. You see the yield? So a lot of you are trying some variant of that. So we're not going to stop. We're not going to clash at him. You can go when you want. I move at his intention. You see? You came here and you're trying to do this thing. You got to do the yield because now you're stopping him. We'll go back, rewind the film. He's coming around. Boom. There it is right there. If you wanted to do that. If you're coming here, that's going to stop him. Figure out where that is. Down to the adhesion. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? I'm not going to go like this. You're in his body. So pull, pull. You feel it? Keep pulling. So he's not pushing on me. He's not pushing on me. Pull, pull. He's not pulling. I'm not using his momentum. I'm in his body. Do you feel? In his body. You can move him. So feel for it. Find the relationship. The Aiki energetic relationship. Turn. No. He doesn't want to go down. So don't reach. You should feel he doesn't want to go down here. So don't go, you will go down. You already feel his lifting. So you use the lifting. You got it? Okay. Try again. Keep going. Do you feel your fear? Do you for real?
Yes.
Okay. Did you feel her fear? Okay. How does it manifest? Do you know how you manifest it in giwaza?
I stopped.
You stop. Okay. Is that what you felt when she stopped? Okay. Now, stopping is just an energy. It's not stopping. Okay. If you have going and stopping, you're in the egoic mind. Stopping should not exist. Okay? So she stopped and you went egoic mind, you went dichotomous response. You see, you went willpower over her. You yonged her. Okay? So even her fear, you see, her fear is also dichotomous. You cannot be reactionary to her fear, okay? So you're gonna experience this, and I'll ask you, try to be sensitive to what you're feeling. So right now, you're nervous as hell. You see that? Okay. Watch what happens to the nervousness, okay? So we come in. Good. stop things there. Okay? Feel. Feel. That's not sorry, that's fine. Feel the fear?
Yes.
Okay. Watch again. Did you seize up? Okay, but watch compare. You see? Watching yourself again. There's the seize, you see? So you have the back brace fall, but you're like, no, 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 that's scary. And then you come in and twist. You say, there it is right there. Here's the next opening. You see? Then you push in, you push up, you see? He pushes up, goes this way now. Then you put post, that's fine. This is fear. And it's over here. Okay? There's the seize and the inhale and the gasping. Watch yourself. There it is. Cool. Did you seize up? No, you didn't. Not like the other time. Can you tell the difference?
Yeah, the end.
Okay, we'll do it again. Cool. So your body doesn't like that back leg fall, right? Right?
Right.
Look, you see? So this is a counter. But not if I don't want it to be. In other words, it's just more energy. Do you get it? I don't force her. There's her counter. There's a counter right there. She doesn't want the shoulder going down. It's fine, do you? So you're going to turn that way, do you see? But I'm going to go this way. There it is. Good, there's the counter. There's the counter. Take this one. Counter, counter. So instead of think about it. What is a counter? The counter only exists because I was trying something. If I didn't have something to try, that energy in the counter is not any different from that energy there. You understand? And I didn't go. She pushed it out, let her push it. Well, there's the counter, you see? That's my opportunity to train. So how many throws do you think you've done? How many would you say?
4 or 5.
No, that I started throwing her Azuke.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Time. 1.
No. How many reps did she have Azuke? 20, 30, 40? What do you think?
40.
Throw her.
Oh.
Go. Oh. Again. Again. Come on. Come on. That's 4. Keep going. Let's do 8. Three more. Two more. Two more. Come on. Come on. One more. Okay. So that was 8. Hey. Come on. So that was 8. Look at you. It's someone describe her. I don't think you don't sense yourself too well. Give me one characteristic as a trained observer. What do you see?
Oh, counting a lot.
She's breathing a lot.
Anxious.
Anxious,
Jittery.
jittery. Okay. Can you name some things how you feel?
Nauseated, shaky, exhausted.
Okay. Exhausted, nauseated. Okay. So how many throws did you take when I was throwing? Again, count it. I'm going to say it's somewhere around 20 at a minimum.
That's my guess.
Did she look like that at 20?
No,
No. Do you get it? Why?
you were not.
He's not going fast, by the way. Okay. Why?
So different.
It was different. Do you see? There was 2 times when I made it like that. What were those 2 times?
The examples, the non-examples.
Yeah, the non-examples. The choke and shoving you down. Okay? If had I done 8 of those, you'd look exactly like this. Okay? So, and this is the cosmic principle of things. Okay? Fear is a darkness. Do you see? Its mission is to spread. To overwhelm. To cover. To engulf. And in a way, it's like you can think of it as a virus, a disease, you see, that has that mission. And so when you feel her, then it goes into you. And then it amplifies in you. Do you see? Remember, at the heart of what we're doing is a reconciliation of fear. So when we have, and let's look at a couple things. There's plenty of those in those 8 reps where you had like total perfect balance. Did you guys see all that? Go back to the 20 reps. Do you see? You're moving. I'm not on your line of attack. Do you get it? You're going to fall anyways. You're going to resist, do you see? But I don't get taken by the darkness, and I don't feed your darkness. Do you see? And then the light, the Aiki, right? Which is not fear, which is a love embrace. That's what I was trying to get you to notice, but you know what you could not notice? That it was infecting you. Because you kept anticipating that was going to happen. Do you see? So you wouldn't let yourself be conscious of how many reps you were actually taking. Do you get it? So I filmed you earlier, and the same thing. You did 4 reps. You were absolutely spent. Okay? Right? We know you. Okay? From a certain point of view, there's no way you could take 20 throws in a row, even at that pace, you see. But here you did. Do you get it? Okay. But even at some point, as the light is pushing the darkness away, the love is replacing the fear. At some point, you have to let go. Do you see? You have to stop identifying with the darkness at some point. Okay? You cannot keep going and staying like that. Because even when the light and the love is in you and you're able to do things you normally couldn't do, in that moment, you would have never said, I don't feel winded, you kept coming back in with the fear look, do you see? Do you get it? And nothing that was even happening. Okay? You got that. Okay? We needed to go back to the contrast and everyone go, look, you're not seeing what's obvious. You missed what was obvious before. Okay? So back to my other deshi here. You have to think of this cosmically. You have to understand, if you're doing giwaza, you have to understand. There's nothing wrong with their movement. Movement is movement. Energy is energy. It's only wrong, or it only stops, or it only needs to change when I am stuck on form, when the egoic mind is functioning. Do you see? Otherwise, it's more like a dance. Do you see that? We're kind of just dancing, right? Okay? And in a way, when you have somebody that is so used to the darkness, it happens, do you see? That's how the whole world is functioning. The whole world does not recognize the darkness, okay? Because we assimilate to it. We acclimate, so to speak. And then we use the world's tonics so that we don't die right away or go crazy right away, just slowly over time. But as you're training in this, okay, you have to think of it cosmically. Oh, a battle, a spiritual battle. I will not be taken by that fear. Do you see? Because that's what you have to do daily. Daily you have to do that. The darkness is trying to take you. And daily you have to go, I will not be taken by the darkness. So here it is in a microcosm of giwaza. Your uke is terrified. Do not be taken by them. You can unterrify them. Do you see? Then you become an imager of God. You could train in a much more pleasant manner. Do you see? Because that other one was probably less than 5 minutes of training. Now, do that for an hour. No way. Do you see? Okay? So every time you have that, because everyone's going to come, people are going to come in like that. Because they're coming from the world. We're like that. But if you're trying to do giwaza, if you understand giwaza correctly, this is a cosmic battle between darkness and light, and who succumbs to what. Okay. And you recognize in you, when it's spread to you, I'm gonna yang you. This isn't right, Kemi. This isn't good. There's no such thing in giwaza. In Kihon waza, yes, but not in giwaza. Everything that's happening is just perfectly fine. Okay? So as you're training, you will feel, you have to become sensitive to it. You will feel the darkness, you will feel the demon bite on you. And you have to do your releasing skill. See? But you cannot confuse releasing with disengaging. I felt you in this last one where you did the 8. You could tell when she got resistant, and then you did not force it, you see, but you disengaged. I did not disengage. The Aiki adhesion just moves to the next location. Do you see? Do you get that? Okay? And that's the difference, okay? Because disengaging in the face of the darkness is still the darkness. It is still the darkness. Okay? It's the ultimate trick of the darkness.